20 of the nation's elite rugby programs have come to Philadelphia for the Collegiate Rugby Championship. We're halftime, Penn State and South Carolina, live on NBC.
I absolutely love that rugby is a metaphor for everything that I do in life.
You show who you are, you show your character.
Speed, athleticism, strength, power.
Pace, the mind games, the hitting, the contact especially.
You can't just be a freak athlete and be really, truly successful. You have to bring the brain along with it.
Biggest tournament that we play in every year. It's also a chance to play against some of the best teams in the country.
It's nice to go against the Ohio State, the Michigans, the Big Ten rivalries.
Bond with my teammates towards a common goal.
Every one of them is giving everything he's got for you, and you've got to keep giving everything you've got for him.
There's an animal excitement to it that you don't capture in many other sports.
I love everything about rugby. It's my ball, I'm going to take it from you.
I love stepping a kid, embarrassing him.
You break their will, you break their confidence. Find that spot right in their stomach with your shoulder.
When you stand over them, you hear the, when you knock the wind out of them, it's my favorite.
You know, if you can get a physical advantage on someone, then you're usually doing something right.
Yeah, it's just the best part. I'm getting giddy thinking about it.
We welcome you to NBC Sports Live coverage of the Collegiate Rugby Championships from PPL Park outside of Philadelphia. Alongside Brian Hightower, Marty Snyder, I'm Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us as we are picking up this game at halftime, just starting the second half. South Carolina in the white, it's Penn State in the blue.
Well, South Carolina has certainly improved over the last couple matches, and it's making things tough for Penn State.
Brian, for the folks, quickly give us a little cursor on what they should know here in Rugby Sevens. 2 weeks ago with the Varsity Cup. Is it nice interception there for Penn State?
Big Dan Metcalf. Rare to see a man that size on a Rugby Sevens field. An interception, but a squandered ball and a turnover back to South Carolina. And Todd, this is the 5th year of this event. The rugby has just gotten better and better every year. But the teams at the top, the California, Life, Kutztown is actually a player, local college team, and they've come to play this weekend.
20 teams in all, set up in pool brackets. We have pool play, which began yesterday, will conclude today, and then we get to the championship rounds tomorrow, which you'll see both on NBC and NBCSN. 7 players to a side. They go 7-minute halves. The clock continues to run. Brian, and there's pretty much no stopping. It's tackling all the time, no forward passing.
Well, that's the thing. Tackling is the most essential part of this game, and so far South Carolina in this game has already missed 12 tackles, and it's why they find themselves in a 12-point hole.
And that could change right here. Nice breakaway for South Carolina, looking for their first 5 points or their first try, and there it is. The Gamecocks on the board as number 11 Tim Hamill puts 5 up for South Carolina.
He's just a little player, Tim Hamill, but he's been fighting on the wing all day. Been really making it difficult for the 2 tries from Dan Taylor to come, and finally gets a little bit of justice. This conversion is going to take place at the spot where the ball was touched down in goal for the try. You'll notice players throughout the weekend trying to get the ball centered between the posts so that the conversion is easier to make. In that case, missed wide to the right.
Here it is one more time after the scrum. Hamill, what happened here?
Well, this is just all about speed, and Penn State doesn't cover the blind side. You got to put a man out on the corner, that blind side, that weak side. And that's just recognition, and that's lazy defense by Penn State. And if you do that, teams can exploit you.
The diminutive Hamill goes 5'7", 145, the sophomore out of Dowlington, Pennsylvania. And you think about the other side, Dan Metcalf, number 1 for Penn State, goes 6'4", 245. So rugby players come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, and Metcalf finally exits the field. He's been used as a 7-minute guy. Really hard to pull that frame along for 14.
So 12-5 with 4:06 to play in this one.
Another turnover. The story so far in this game, missed tackles on the side of South Carolina and turnovers for Penn State.
Number 7, Dana Corcoran, number 5'8", 180 junior out of Charleston, South Carolina. And the offense really bogging down in the center of the field. Numbers on the outside for the Gamecocks. And right there, R.J. Bell tried to kick it in, and it goes over. Another turnover. Penn State takes over. We'll check in down on the pitch with Marty Snyder.
Steve Darnell is the head coach for South Carolina. First time ever in the CRC for you guys. How do you think the guys have done?
They've done well, as well can be expected. It's first time here. We've had some jitters the first day. It looks like we shake them out today. Looking a little better and hoping to be able to finish this game.
I talked to one of their star players, Matt Augustine. He told me, we've watched this on television for the last several years. We're tired of playing teams in the SEC. We're going to play some national teams. Big matchup here for South Carolina, Todd.
And no question about it, Marty. Be careful what you wish for, Brian, because we've really got 20 of the best teams. Not all the teams are here, but this is a pretty fine collection of players and teams here at the CRC.
Yeah, and the standards just gotten better and better as we see number 10. That's Jay Mathias going in for the third try of the day for Penn State.
So 5 more points for the Nittany Lions. You see the try or the downward pressure applied right behind the post, so this will make the conversion that much easier.
You talk about South Carolina trying to prepare for this tournament. A lot of the teams that I've talked to this weekend have talked about how they've really started their preparations in the wintertime. Just after January's over, focusing solely on sevens, and that's rare. That's a new phenomenon, and it's been caused by this event.
Watch Mathias here, number 10, at the bottom of your screen. Stays onside.
Yeah, and a great pass from Blaze Fury to get him in the clear. One of the skill sets you have to have for this game, to be able to draw a man on defense and then pass to the open guy. And it's a simple skill, but sometimes hard to execute.
So the senior from Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, Mathias, puts Penn State on top 19-5 with 1:36 now to play in this match.
Penn State has really underperformed in some of the CRCs of the past, and being from so close in Pennsylvania, they like to do a little bit better. They need to finish and win this game.
6 teams from Pennsylvania in this tournament of 20, and once again another try for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, that's gonna be the decider. No way South Carolina can claw its way back from that now with a minute left. And by the time this conversion happens, kicker has 30 seconds while the clock's running to make this kick. And so by the time the ball gets back to halfway for the restart, there's only going to be about 30 ticks left on that clock, Todd.
Conversion up and short, so no 2 points added on for Penn State with a 24-5 lead. And a minute to go in this one. They've about locked this thing up. So South Carolina comes into their first CRC. A tough bracket to go, but Brian, this is how you build your program.
Well, yeah, but this is an education for them. And I think, as the coach, Steve Darnell, indicated, that they're doing pretty well considering it's their first time. And this is an eye-opener.
Gamecocks try to kick it into touch. Into play, the chip doesn't work, and Penn State takes over, and here they are once again. Tom Bashara offloads it down to number 6, Dom DeFalco.
DeFalco, one of the leaders of this team. The captain, has been here for a couple years in a row. There's number 7, ball in hand, just past it. Selby Newey. Father was a U.S. Eagle fly half.
South Carolina now taking over. Final 10 seconds in this one.
Well, you got to like Tim Cahill's chances. Got to get him the ball out on the corner, though.
Ball knocked on, and that'll bring this game to a conclusion. So it is Penn State that gets the win, 24-5 over South Carolina, as they make their inaugural appearance here at the CRC. So tough sledding for the Gamecocks. Penn State gets the victory, a much-needed win for them in pool play. Coming up next, we've got a classic rivalry on the gridiron and now on the pitch. The Michigan Wolverines taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll have that for you in less than 2 minutes live here on NBC when we return to Philadelphia.
The rivalry with Michigan, there's nothing else like it.
The Ohio State game is huge.
When you're a little kid, you know Michigan, Ohio State is one of the first things you learn.
If we get them on national TV against Ohio State,
hopefully we can add one more win for the Buckeyes.
We're just excited about it. I mean, they're going to play lights out.
Go Bucks.
Hey guys, Ron Bowers said he read that Nate Ebner speech word for word, and the boys were more than fired up. So just in case you guys want to get to that, you can. I might tease it, and then you can finish it off. So I don't have the word for word version. Thank you. Brian can read it. He's got it.
I can read it.
Yeah.
Are we basically back on format, Gibby, at 47? Okay. Copy that. Earlier today here in Philadelphia, it was California, the defending champions, taking on Maryland. Cal started off a little bit slow, but once they got going, Brian, all downhill.
Yeah, we've seen Andrew Battaglia there scoring the first try, and then Bosco leaves with a yellow card, but that doesn't stop Cal. Seamus Kelly going over for one of his 3 tries on the weekend. He's scored in every game so far.
40-5, the final score. The defending champ Cal Bears, are they on their way to going back-to-back as we get set for our next match on the pitch? This is a classic rivalry. Michigan taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. This may not be the big house, but PPL Park now has got plenty of blue and maize here. And here they come out onto the pitch.
We talked about newcomers. South Carolina struggling to really find its groove in this tournament. But I tell you what, Michigan, they've never been here before, and they have gone 2-0 in the first 2 games.
So we're almost set for Michigan-Ohio State. Before we get that thing going, let's check in with Marty.
Matt Trineri is head coach for Michigan. Coach, is there anything you need to say to your guys when you're a Michigan athlete in any sport other than you're playing Ohio State to motivate them?
Not much, you know, the machine just kind of runs itself at that point. Everybody loves to beat the Buckeyes. Hopefully we can do it today.
You guys a little extra motivated. They took care of you pretty handily in the Big Ten tournament.
I know, but, you know, maybe we want some revenge here, but we're just here to have fun and enjoy it, and they've been doing a good job of that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
And Ohio State got a little extra motivation today. Nate Ebner, former Ohio State rugby player and football players from Patriots training camp, the OTAs. He sent in the pregame speech, and the boys were very fired up, according to Coach Ron Bowers.
All right, thank you very much, Marty. Well, it really goes both ways. I mean, Ohio State gets pretty fired up to play Michigan. Michigan's pretty fired up to play Ohio State. And Ebner, you actually got that tweet.
Yeah, Nate sent that tweet to me, and he said, this is the speech. It's a rivalry that's bigger than them and bigger than even any one sport. They're lucky to be a part of tradition like that. The Bucks better leave it all on the field. Only a win is acceptable Strong words from former Buckeye rugby great Nate Ebner.
7-minute halves were underway, and Michigan starting off with a mistake early on. The ball has to travel the 10 meters. It doesn't, so Ohio State will take over and restart at midfield.
Well, you can just tell the way the bodies are moving out there. There's just a little something extra in it.
First big hit out of the way. Ohio State maintaining possession, really stretching the field here. All right, for a team like Michigan, Brian, you come to this tournament, you're going to play 3 grueling games in the first day and a half. How do you get your team ready? And then on top of that, you're playing a big rival like Ohio State.
Well, I think once you're playing an opponent like this, some of that fatigue goes away. And this is the reason why they show up. Keep your eyes on number 8 for Ohio State, Santino Kua. Great finisher.
Aaron Thomas now taken to the ground just outside the 22.
I tell you what, Michigan has been winning their first 2 games. They've done it all on defense. Very structured approach, very physical in the breakdown area, and if you run at them, they're going to put a shoulder into you. Very few missed tackles so far.
Have to go back deep in the history books of the CRC to find a team making their debut and winning their first 2 matches right out of the gate. So this is a line out for Ohio State.
Back up.
Ball has to travel down the tunnel. Both teams have an equal shot at it. The Buckeyes come away with it.
Well, it looked like Santino Kua thought he was going to get a dummy runner there. He didn't expect the ball, and instead comes out of the hands of Aaron Thomas, and it's knocked on. It'll be a scrum to Michigan. And sometimes the tension in a game like this is really broken by that first try.
Come in, come in.
So our first scrum, and we'll listen in.
Buy-in. Set.
Michigan now a little breakaway. Nice piece of running here.
This is when you find out how good your sweeper is.
Menser. Christian Menser, the senior from Saline, Michigan, gives Michigan the first try of the match.
Great run by Menser. There's only a few sweepers. That's the guy in the very back playing that emergency defense. And Chatfield gets turned by Menser, and he's got the gas to finish.
2-point conversion up and good. So it is now Michigan 7, Ohio State 0 with just over 4 minutes to play here in the first half of this one.
And some players just have a natural swerve in the open field. You take a look at Menser, just the ability to swivel those hips, and he's cruising.
Well, the history econ minor major starts his full-time job on Monday as an account development rep. So this is his last go-around and wants to go out. And once again, Michigan coming up short on that restart kick, not going the full 10 meters.
Well, we'll talk about some of the statistics on the education behind some of these guys on the field later on. But I tell you what, there's some serious brain power in this tournament. And there's a good look at Santino Kua.
And the Buckeyes answer right back with Kua taking it in for a try.
Well, he's the danger man for the Buckeyes. He just slips a tackle there. He's got a really good base on him, and he moves well, keeps those feet under him. Just slips that tackle. It's a double team, and the stiff arm on number 4 for Michigan, Conselman. And normally Joel Conselman is one of those sure tacklers for the Wolverines, but hard to get a hold of Santino Kua.
5 seconds. Just kick it now.
And remember, that all started as the conversion attempt is no good. That all started from the misfire from midfield on the restart kick as Michigan turns it over. And for more on Kua, we check in with Marty Snyder.
Well, guys, after he won the state championship in Ohio, he was invited to South Africa to train, and after his senior season in high school, he said it was an amazing experience. He went to a couple of friendly matches, and he said the kids out in the parking lot, 3 and 4 years old, were throwing passes better than I was. He said it was a real eye-opener because I was around a culture that just loved rugby. He said it really fueled my passion for the game, but it also taught me I got a lot to work on my game. He's translated that over here to Ohio State, Todd.
And he gives Ohio State life, trailing now 7-5 as we go under 2 minutes to play here in the first half.
And Kua's got 5 tries in this tournament already.
Early. Go 10. Let him run. That's
Early
good.
tackle on Ohio State. You can't tackle a guy unless he's got the ball in his hands. Chip kick. Sequoia Burke-Combs on the chase, number 2 for Michigan.
Ruck form, Ohio State maintains possession. Numbers on the outside, they're really trying to stretch the field.
And Kua's the man on the outside, and he cuts back inside. Oh, great little step there.
Dangerous man, ball left there, and the Wolverines take advantage of it.
Yeah, if you're slow to support and grab that ball, then it's open for the other team, and Michigan does a great job of turning that ball over. This is where speed kills. You got to have somebody with pace to burn on the wing. And that's not the man there. Conselman.
4, side entry.
I want to remind you the rugby tournament here in Philadelphia, the CRC continues on NBCSN, coming in at 4:30. And also tonight on NBCSN, 6 to 8 o'clock. So the ball kicked into touch. We'll have a line out, another way to restart the game. Give you a good shot from down on the field, exactly how this will be executed.
Throw is so important here. It's got to be on the money. Oh, nice little switch, but a good open field tackle there by Danny Payton.
Now the clock's at 0, but play continues on. Ball picked off. And a nice job by Alex Davidson.
Well, it's got to be a score by Menser now.
Menser stays on his feet, back to the inside.
That's a penalty. Yeah, you got to release the ball there. Number 12, CJ Stock for Michigan.
Easy.
Couldn't cross the line, and so penalty to Ohio State, and they're going the other way, but can't get around Joel Conselman.
Aaron Thomas trying to do a chip kick. And that'll bring the first half to a conclusion. Want to remind you, our players were treated as Subway breakfast sandwiches this morning. Avocado season is back at Subway. Add rich, creamy avocado to any sub or salad. Even try it on your favorite breakfast sandwich. Subway. Eat fresh.
Subway, where winners eat. Go Irish. Yeah, baby. Go Irish. Go Irish, baby. Irish.
Is this our last game? Wow. Yep. The 2014 Collegiate Rugby Championship on NBC is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Rich, creamy avocado is back at Subway. On the banks of the Delaware River, this is the Collegiate Rugby Championship. Lots of rules to learn, and courtesy of Santino Kua of Ohio State, here's how a lineout works.
After the ball has gone out of bounds, a lineout is a way to restart the game. The ball must travel 5 meters and travel down the center of a tunnel so that players from both teams may compete for possession of the ball. Go Bucks, 4-6. Ready. Yeah, my ball, my ball, my ball. Yeah, overs.
Put down.
7-5, Michigan leading Ohio State at the half as we get set for the next 7 minutes to determine the winner in this one. Remember, Michigan comes into this tournament for the first time already with a 2-0 record. Very impressive, making their inaugural appearance here at the Collegiate Rugby Championship.
Oh, nice little dish.
Nice running.
Oh, double stiff arm.
Lawrence Armitage Brain there, taking it all the way down inside 5 meters.
Ball. Well, that's unlucky for Michigan. Great defense. Persistence there.
Yeah, do it now.
Let's take a look at number 10, Ian Hildebrandt, getting shoved off twice by Lawrence Armitage Brain from Michigan, but not enough juice to finish it.
So it'll be a scrum to the Buckeyes.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
And this is where Ohio State, Brian's going to be very careful with ball security.
Yeah, starting from inside their own goal. Santino Kua tries to take the corner on number 12, CJ Stock from Michigan.
Side entry.
Side entry, and if you're going to participate in a ruck, you got to come from what's called the gate. That means right behind where the ruck takes place. It's about the width of the person on the ground.
Running clock here in Rugby Sevens. This is the second half with Michigan leading it 7-5.
Ohio State has an overlap on the outside. The question is, can they get it to the corner again? And an errant pass gives Michigan time to reset its defense. Sequoia Burke-Combs with a great tackle there, number 2 from Michigan. Now it's on.
Now the numbers on the outside for the Buckeyes. 2-on-1.
Kua should have stayed outside. The try would have been easy. Trying to bulldoze 4 guys.
Advantage. 11 offside.
Support's a little too far outside.
Aaron Thomas dumps it over. Danny Nolan stood up. Great defense at the goal line by the Wolverines.
Yeah, Burke-Combs coming up with 2 huge tackles.
Oh, and another big hit.
That's a great stick.
Let's check in down on the field with Marty.
Ron Bowers is the head coach for Ohio State. What'd you say to the guys there at halftime? And it's been an intense second half, hasn't it?
It's been real intense. Just play their pattern, hopefully get some breaks and get some points on the board, Marty.
And the one thing he said is that we have to remember Michigan's coming after us. They're playing a different brand than they played in the Big Ten tournament. Don't let down your guard.
And as Marty reported earlier, Ohio State taking it to Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. This is a whole different story here at the CRC. 7-5, Wolverines on top, and they now have the scrum.
Yeah, I think Ohio State squandered an opportunity in the far corner there to score. Now Michigan's making them pay. Penalty against Ohio State.
Playing the man.
Again, wrapping up a guy who doesn't have the ball. There's number 9 for Michigan, Jared Bosma. Huge tackle in the last frame.
Bosma 5'8", 170. Junior plays awfully big. Young man from Hastings, Michigan, and off to the races. A nice piece of open field running back into the hands of Bosma now. Crossing midfield looking for support.
A great double switch to start this move out. Sequoia Burke-Combs has some juice.
Stiff arm to Kua. Stays on his feet, and that's a try for the Wolverines.
Some great creativity to spring Burke Combs on this one. Well, he was one of the players to watch. Coach Matt Trenery told us earlier, and that's the reason why. Real physical. Couple stiff arms. And the outstretched arms of Santino Kua can't reel him in. That's a really important try, because now, since it's centered, conversion good, now it's 14-5. That means Ohio State has to score twice in order to get over on Michigan.
Beautiful run by Sequoia Burke Combs, the junior, just started playing this game his senior year in high school. So we talk about a lot of these guys may not have a ton of experience, but just natural athletic ability.
You just got to love the fend, and then at some point in this game, you just have to believe in yourself and know that you can get to the end zone.
Twice in the first half, Michigan unable to get the 10 meters required on the restart. Ohio State this time takes over, and nice job of coverage by the Wolverines.
Jarrett Bosma's doing a great job on the inside. First a great tackle, then a poach. Thinking about kicking it, and he does. He lays one down.
Fine.
Taken away by Christian Menser.
He's got a man.
Man wide open. Cole Van Horn will take it in for Michigan.
Well, Ohio State's just getting outplayed, plain and simple. Michigan's just playing better sevens rugby right now. Great support work. They're using angles. They're not afraid to run the tight side of the field, that weak side. Menser stays strong on his feet, and Cole Van Horn with a great finish. That's the second time he was involved in that same movement.
May not be the big house, but PPL Park certainly has a rabid Michigan support fan right now, sitting over there at section 126. And the conversion is good, so 2 more points for the Wolverines.
This is a great step in the right direction for a fairly young rugby coach, Matt Trenery, and this Wolverine squad means a lot to the university and especially to this program. The history of Michigan Wolverines goes way back into the 1800s.
Well, for more on this matchup and the rivalry that is Michigan-Ohio State, we check in with Marty.
Well, we talked about the match in the Big Ten tournament where Ohio State won very handily, and Matt Caston promised me that if he won today, if Michigan won, he would sing Hail to the Victors. I don't know what kind of singer he is, but we might have to put him up to that, boys, if they do continue to win this game.
Matt Caston, the freshman out of Ann Arbor. We'll see. I'm sure they know that song very well. Big hit on the side, and the ball is knocked into touch.
Yeah, that physical dominance by Michigan.
Option, forward into touch. Yep, forward into touch, option. Scrub our line out. Line out.
So Michigan gets the option of either going with a scrum or a line out. Watch this hit.
Cole Van Horn getting it done on the defensive end as well.
Not straight.
Ball has to travel right down the middle of the tunnel.
Scrum or line out.
So now the option goes to the Buckeyes.
Not straight. Scrum, okay. Scrum here. On me.
So Ohio State gets another opportunity with the ball.
It's on me. Come in. Crouch. Bind. Set.
And Michigan just not giving an inch. Look at the pressure they're putting on. Coming up real quick. I saw these guys run earlier in the week, Todd, at a training session. And if you would have asked me if they were going to go 3-0 in their pool and win it outright, I wouldn't have believed you.
So the game goes final. It's the Wolverines 21, Ohio State 5, and a very dominant second half for Michigan.
Hopefully Marty's pulling Matt Kasten out for a song.
So what do you think about Michigan? How deep do you think they can go in this tournament?
But it's hard to say, you know, it's 14 minutes and the way they're playing just real physical, and they're backing themselves, and they, you know, really seem to have that brotherhood, that kind of team culture that you want in a good Rugby Sevens team.
All right, let's go down on the field with Marty.
Well, let's grab Sequoia Burke-Combs. First of all, tell me about that last try. You look like Carlin Isles there with all that speed, man.
You know, we're stew fit. All we do all year is just run, get up early, go out to this practice, and every single one of us hit it this year. We were just able to come out here and perform, just play a team game. That's why we were able to win out there.
You guys all talked about the Big Ten tournament, losing to Ohio State, and what an embarrassment that was. Is this exactly revenge today?
Yeah, that's revenge, but we really came out here today and we just wanted to go one game at a time. We didn't care who we were playing. We just wanted to play Michigan rugby today, and that's what we came out here and did.
All right, let's talk to Matt Kasten over here. And it seemed like you guys were playing a different brand of rugby today than you played in the last few weeks.
You know, we've turned up the intensity. We've gotten more physical. We've improved our skills, passing, running, rucking, everything. You know, we've truly turned into a sevens club, more or less, and it's been unbelievable.
First ever CRC. Did you honestly expect to be 3-0?
Not entirely, not at all, actually. I mean, we came in just, you know, looking to have fun, looking to enjoy the experience, and it turned out to be an unbelievable one.
All right, do you remember our interviews the other day?
I do.
Do you remember what you promised?
Sing Hail to the Victors?
That's right, and you won, so guess what? You're going to sing.
Here we go. Hail to the victors, valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue!
There you go. Very nice, Matt Kasten. He sung. He promised he would, and they came through with a win, and he delivered, Todd.
He certainly delivered. Right now, we want to take a look at our Dell Rugged Laptop Play of the Match. And you want to talk about rugged, they had it all here, Brian. Michigan, Ohio State, an absolute classic.
Well, just the physicality, and again, looked like Ohio State kind of on the back foot. And the players with the dominant shoulders in that game won outright.
Santino Kua trying to make it happen for the Buckeyes, but that would be it. Just the 5 points on that one try, and the rest, it was all Wolverines. We'll be back to Philadelphia to wrap things up after this short break. And who's going to be with? I'll just generic to Marty.
Coming to me?
Yeah. What has impressed you so far? Almost 2 full days complete. Cal, Michigan. Want to talk to Cal, Michigan?
I like the standard overall, you know.
Do you have a water?
Yep.
The 2014 Collegiate Rugby Championship on NBC is brought to you by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Back at PPL Park alongside Brian Hightower, I'm Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us on a picture-perfect day here in Philadelphia on the banks of the Delaware River. All right, we're almost 2 days complete into a 3-day tournament. 20 of the most elite teams in the country have come here. What has impressed you the most?
You know, for me, the level of play that everyone, even kind of the quote-unquote bottom teams, right, teams like Temple, teams like Drexel, they're really structured in defense, and the sevens as a sport has grown so much, and that's been cool to watch. But, you know, the top of the notch, you look at Cal, you look at Life, Dartmouth and Kutztown are going to have a battle pretty soon, and Michigan.
All right, let's update the bracket so far, this 3-day tournament. Here's what it looks like. Cal started off a little slow yesterday, but they are sitting at 3-0. The other team you got to look at is Michigan, making their first appearance. We just saw them take down their rival, Ohio State.
Yeah, take a look at Pool A. California, they're probably back at the hotel right now, sitting in the hot tub or icing down, and they've got a pretty comfortable day ahead of them to get till tomorrow's finals. Pool B, Dartmouth and Kutztown are about to play each other next on ABC Sports Network, and that is going to be a crucial match for both of those two as we look down the road till tomorrow.
Dartmouth, remember, a 2-time champion. There is Michigan making their first appearance here at the CRC.
Yeah, really impressive. This morning, a nail-biter against Navy. Navy had a chance to come back and tie, couldn't get it done, and Michigan is going to move on to the cup round out of Pool C.
How about the Bruins coming from Westwood?
Yeah, they're a little bit of a slow starting team, a lot of firepower. However, they've taken a while to get warmed up, but now they're starting to hit a stride. And finally, Pool E, you look at Life. Arizona's been a disappointment so far. Life College is going to be dangerous. They're going to face off later on.
A lot of rugby still to play today and tomorrow as we'll wrap things up and crown a national champion. Before we move on with that, let's check it on the field with Marty Snyder.
Well, Todd, rugby has certainly exploded in popularity, especially here in the U.S., and especially with rugby sevens. But if you trace the rugby roots back further, it goes back over 100 years. Known as a hooligan's game, played by gentlemen, rugby fittingly traces its roots to an elite boarding school in the English countryside. According to legend, on the grounds of the rugby school in 1823, an enterprising pupil named William Webb Ellis, acting with what spectators described as a fine disregard for the rules of football as played in his time, first took the ball in his arms and ran with it. By the 1870s, rugby had made its way stateside. The first Yale-Harvard football game in 1875 was actually a rugby match. On most campuses, however, influenced by Yale's Walter Camp, rugby would eventually morph into American football. Rugby was contested at 4 of the first 7 Olympics. In fact, the United States is the defending Olympic champion, winning gold in Paris in 1924. Rugby hasn't appeared in the Olympics since, but its international appeal has exploded. And even here, rugby is woven into the fabric of North American sport. When a Canadian theology student sought to create a sport free of the ruffianism that vexed the games of his day, he looked to his time on the rugby pitch. Dr. James Naismith figured if you could ban carrying, you could eliminate tackling, or at least that was the refined pursuit that gave birth to the game of basketball. Tackling was no problem for Army's Heisman Trophy winning Rhodes Scholar when he tried his hand at rugby. But when Pete Dawkins first played at Oxford, he felt lineouts could use a football makeover. So he ushered in an overhand throw that the tabloids called the Yankee torpedo pass. It is now the standard. These days, rugby is played across the globe. It's the day job of Canada's bobsled gold medalist, the passion of one of Hollywood's brightest stars. And of course, it's on the silver screen where the world saw the story of a united team that helped heal a divided nation, winning the William Webb Ellis Cup along the way. With the Summer Olympics looming at the place in sport where the light shines the brightest, rugby is back in Rio de Janeiro. Rugby will once again bring together the world's best, including the first women's tournament. 92 years after Paris, the Americans will have a title to defend.
And to remind you, coming up on NBCSN, Kutztown takes on Dartmouth, a two-time champion of this tournament, St. Joe's, Notre Dame, and Penn taking on the Hokies of Virginia Tech. That's all coming up on NBCSN. As Dartmouth prepares to leave the locker room, I want to remind you, join us on NBCSN in just a few minutes for the Collegiate Rugby Championship as it continues. But coming up next on NBC, stay tuned for International Track and Field and the Prefontaine Classic from Eugene, Oregon. On behalf of Brian Hightower and Marty Snyder, I'm Todd Harris. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned to NBCSN for more CRC. Until then, so long. Who have I got here? Who have I got? So who's up next? Dartmouth and Kutztown? That stinks.
Talking about me?
You stink too, but Dartmouth and Kutztown and St. Joe, Notre Dame.
I absolutely love that rugby is a metaphor for I absolutely love that rugby is a metaphor for everything that I do in life.
You show who you are, you show your character.
Speed, athleticism, strength, power.
Pace, the mind games, the hitting, the contact especially.
You can't just be a freak athlete and be really, truly successful. You have to bring the brain along with it.
Biggest tournament that we play in every year. It's also a chance to play against some of the best teams in the country.
It's nice to go against the Ohio State, the Michigans, the Big Ten rivalries.
Bond with my teammates towards a common goal.
Every one of them is giving everything he's got for you, and you've got to keep giving everything you've got for him.
There's an animal excitement to it that you don't capture in many other sports.
I love everything about rugby. It's my ball, I'm going to take it from you. I love stepping a kid, embarrassing him.
You break their will, you break their confidence.
Find that spot right in their stomach with your shoulder.
When you stand over them, you hear the, when you knock the wind out of them, it's my favorite. You know, if you can get a physical advantage on someone, then you're usually doing something right.
Yeah, it's just the best part. I'm getting giddy thinking about it.
The NBC Sports Network is proud to bring you the Collegiate Rugby Championship from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the shadows of Rocky Balboa. Hello, everybody. Todd Harris alongside the former captain of Team USA, Brian Hightower. This is a three-day tournament. 20 elite teams have made their way to the banks of the Delaware River. And, Brian, the cream of the crop is certainly here with the Cal Bears, the defending champions, but there's other teams that are certainly capable of knocking them off.
And we're about to see two of them. Dartmouth and Kutztown are about to battle. And, you know, it's not just about who wins, but for the loser of this game to stay in the hunt, they got to keep the game tight because the second place winners are going to be dependent on point differential. Dartmouth 2-0. Kutztown has only played one so far, so they're going to have a game after this, but they got to keep this scoreline tight. The loser does in order to try to move on tomorrow.
And there you see the brackets so far as we check in with the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Marty Snyder.
Madison Hughes and his Dartmouth team about to run out. This is a huge matchup against Kutztown, one of the tougher teams in this bracket. Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, we know they're going to be a really, really good team, and we're going to have to play our best to beat them.
You've won this 2 out of 3 the last 3 times, but you said there's a lot of guys on this team who don't know what it's like to win this tournament.
Yeah, I know we got a lot of new guys, a lot of new people who are looking to make their mark on Dartmouth rugby, and this is the opportunity to do so.
And as former coach Alex Magleby said, by far, Madison Hughes, the best player in this tournament. You don't want to miss him play, Todd.
All right, coming up, it'll be Dartmouth, the 2-time champions of this tournament, taking on Kutztown. We'll have that for you live on NBCSN. Good hustle, Marty. Good hustle, Brian Hightower. I just told him I was going to throw him a hot potato.
Hey,
hot potato. How's Kutztown only played one game?
I don't know, man. How's Cal finish their tournament?
And they played first.
Yeah.
So Cal's 3-0.
Cal got
Kutztown
the milk toast schedule.
I know,
man.
but they played the first match against Kutztown, so they haven't played since yesterday at 5 o'clock. So they had almost 12 hours off. I mean, 24 hours off.
We enjoy that. We love that we're the small name school, and we're ready. We enjoy that. We love that we're the small name school, and nobody really recognizes, and that's our goal, is to be recognized.
In the rugby community, we're a big school. We're known for winning games. We're top 5 in the nation most of the time, and I think schools see that and they take us very seriously.
The Kutztown Golden Bears making their way into PPL Park. This should be a home game for them. Just about 80 miles up the road is their campus, but they have a tall task ahead of them. Dartmouth, the Big Green, 2-time champions of this very tournament, winning it in 2011 and 2012.
Well, you're about to see a stark contrast in styles because Kutztown has the biggest man in the tournament on the field, Mike Lawrenson. Dartmouth has a bunch of little scamperers. They can get around you, they can create space, but they are slight in build. It'll be interesting to see how size matches speed.
Lawrenson, 6'7", 245. The senior will be wearing number 8 as we check in once again with Marty Snyder.
Greg Jones, head coach for Kutztown. This is a big matchup for you guys, isn't it?
Yes, sir. This is a big match. California last year, Dartmouth this year. We've been prepared. We played 36 games this season.
You guys play and prepared an entire year for this, didn't you?
Absolutely. Yes, we did. This is it.
All right,
first test.
Yeah, exactly right. They're a lot different than a lot of programs, Todd, because a lot of programs focus on 15. Kutztown, all they're worried about this weekend, winning the Sevens tournament.
Their head coach, Doc Jones, has been the coach of this program since 1986. The program's only been around since 1984, so he's pretty much the father of this whole deal, and we are underway. And it'll be Kutztown has the first shot at it, but Dartmouth takes it away.
A great, perfect kick by Madison Hughes, and Wilson Chalkley goes up and gets the high ball. Great start for Dartmouth. They're going to need every break they can get. You talk about a special player, Madison Hughes. They were down 12-5 in the last game. Sorry, check that, 17-5, and Madison Hughes basically puts them on their back. But there goes Alex Fison-Donahue.
And the Golden Bears will go on the board first.
Rare mistake out of the hands of Hughes.
We were just talking about maybe the best player on the pitch, but he totally airmailed that pass.
Yeah, and that might be the fastest man on the pitch. You know, sometimes you take a shot and you can get burned trying to come up and make that intercept.
Just outside. 4, just outside.
So the conversion comes straight out from where the downward pressure was applied on the try, and this will be worth 2 points. Up and good. So just like that, Kutztown up 7-0.
Well, so things going the right way straight out of the gates, but you can see what a turnover will do to a team. That transition attack, there's just no way to fall back on defense.
Baby. Yes, sir, under the post. Yeah, baby, put it down. Yeah. Yeah, Oregon. Way to go, buddy.
Doc Jones happy with that. Alex Fison-Donahue making his way all the way from Portland, Oregon, the other side of the country. Just wanted to get off the West Coast, and he's certainly found a home at Kutztown.
Ball was out.
Nice open field tackle by Jack Braun.
Well, Dartmouth has been down before. We'll see how they respond. Knock on, player knocking the ball forward.
And you know, the story of this game, you go back to that breakdown where the ball was poached by Kutztown. The player's so big on Kutztown that Dartmouth had to actually send 2 guys to take one out of the ruck, left the ball free, and then it was just stolen by Kutztown. Anytime you got to take 2 bodies to move 1, you're at a disadvantage. Dartmouth's going to want to try to stay out of the contact game as much as they can.
Right.
So the scrum goes to the big green, Dartmouth, and they'll kick this one
offside, green, hold
into touch.
Green.
Alex Magleby, the former coach of Dartmouth,
we're going backwards.
now working as a technical advisor, won this tournament twice, as we talked about, in 12 and 11.
That's fine.
Yeah, and wearing a couple hats here this tournament, technical advisor for Dartmouth, but also trying to identify talent that's going to go to the next level and play potentially in the Olympics.
2016 Rio Summer Games. Rugby Sevens is back. Ball stripped away, and a nice job by Dartmouth.
That should look like it should have been a knock on. Referee doesn't call it.
Cross forward first by Green.
I think Kutztown knocked that ball on. Referee said it went straight down.
So here we go with another scrum.
Up here, fellas.
And we'll give you an opportunity to listen into the commands here.
Okay. Closer. Green, step up. Crouch. Bind.
Dartmouth's really been tackling well. That's an early push.
Early. Right there.
By Kutztown. Free kick going Dartmouth's way.
Madison Hughes with the ball. Dumps it off to number 6, Duke McKenna.
Advantage.
Knock on advantage. No, penalty advantage. Kutztown.
Holding on. Mark's back here for. Yep. Holding on.
Seven-minute halves here in Rugby Sevens. Clock continues to run. That's a big man lowering his head. We talked about just how big Michael Lawrence at 6'7", 245 is.
Well, the strategy there, just take 6'7" and jam them into a few defenders, and Dartmouth holds pretty well. They got to put guys on the ground.
Not going to happen here as big Bruce Dolan pushes his way across for another try.
It's no try, though. It's actually been held up in goal, so it's going to be a 5-meter scrum to Dartmouth. A great job by Kevin Clark getting under that ball. And check it out again. On the phase play here, the ball gets taken out of the back. That's Bruce Dolan. He goes to the line, but Kevin Clark is jamming him up. It can't be touchdown, and great job, Kevin Clark.
So downward pressure must be applied for the try to be awarded, and it wasn't given there, so the scrum will restart things, and Dartmouth comes away with it. So the Big Green dodging the bullet there. They're going to kick this one, chip it out of play, because right now the ball has stayed in the end of Dartmouth the entire game.
Track 12.
Dangerous chase, but a great open field tackle there by number 6 for Dartmouth, Clay Robbins, former wide receiver for the Dartmouth football team.
No question about it, and you put it out. Kutztown is certainly the bigger squad, but Dartmouth very technical, doing the little things that are keeping this in the game, and they are only down 7-0 right now.
Yeah, Clark coming up.
15 to go in the first half.
Clark coming up, making a great tackle, and there's a turnover forced by Dartmouth. It'll be a scrum. So if Dartmouth can maintain its defensive shape and manage to score one before the half, they'll be in good shape coming into the second.
So Dartmouth trails 7-0. We sit it down on the field where Marty's got their former coach.
Former coach of Dartmouth, former U.S. Coach as well. And is it hard for you to let Gavin Hickey, the guy you put into the head coaching job, do his job here?
He's doing a great job, and so it's fun to help and advise and see the program moving forward.
But I see you over here sort of coaching in your mind, right?
Yeah, I'm helping out. Yeah, exactly.
What's going on with your team right now? Clearly the size of Kutztown's an issue.
Yeah, I mean, Kutztown's big. They're able to offload really well. They're handy players, so Dartmouth's going to really have to fill the lanes, make that first up tackle, and we may get some possession that way.
We just talked to Madison before the match started, and he said, there's a lot of guys on this team that don't know what it's like to win the CRC, so it's a different group, isn't it?
It is a different group, and they're young in a lot of ways, but they're learning, and that's the important part.
All right, we'll let you get back to sort of coaching, okay?
Thanks.
All right, Todd.
Alex Magleby on the sideline, officially a technical advisor, but a two-time national champion coach for the Dartmouth Big Green as they won the championship under his guys. And the ball once again right at the goal line and taken away again by Dartmouth. So again, the Big Green dodge another bullet, and here's Madison Hughes trying to atone for that earlier pass. Look at this, it's a foot race.
Watch the footwork though. Kevin Clark on the support. He does have the wheels.
And this looks like something that Dartmouth has done before as time runs out in the first half. The Big Green come back to put a try on the board.
Huge try there for Dartmouth, and it all started all the way back 100 meters on their own goal line. James Sharp out of the tackle, and Hughes going to work. Great speed, though, on the defense of Kutztown. Hughes tries to shimmy shake, busted inside, gets tripped up, but Kevin Clark on the trail.
So Clark running in support, and we come to the end of the first half. It is all even at 7. Dartmouth and Kutztown knotted up at an absolute classic here in Philadelphia. We'll have the second half of the CRC battle between Kutztown and Dartmouth when we return to PPL Park here on NBCSN. Look who's talking during the... The 2014 Collegiate Rugby Championship on NBC is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Rich, creamy avocado is back at Subway. Back in Philadelphia, there's number 8, Neil Green, the senior in econ from Sudbury, Mass., who lended a hand to us and gave us an idea of how you restart a game using the scrum.
A scrum is a way to restart the game after a minor infraction like a knock-on. The ball must be fed straight down the tunnel so players from each team can compete for possession. Crouch. Bind. Set. Yeah, you're good now. Stay back. Yeah, here we go. Go, Colin, on your right.
I got ball. And our thanks to the players and coaches who lent their time helping us on the instructionals as we get set for the second half. All knotted up at 7 in this one. Kutztown in the white, Dartmouth in the green. And I tell you, if you're a Dartmouth fan, you got to be pretty happy that it's all knotted up, because that first half was really dominated by the Golden Bears of Kutztown.
Absolutely. You got to feel pretty good about just being able to stretch this Kutztown defense. And the tackling has been superb by Dartmouth. On the other end, Kutztown really making some good runs, but unable to finish.
Thank you.
7s across the board as we check in on the field with Marty Snyder.
Well, let's chat with Dartmouth head coach Gavin Hickey, and you had some terrific goal line stands down there defensively, but what do your boys need to do to win this match?
Well, really we need to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. We're tending to give up possession pretty easily, and I think if we can hold on to the ball and get it out wide, we've got a few speedsters, that's what we're looking to do.
And he also told us, guys, remember, we're technically better than they are. They're bigger than us, but play to our advantage, Todd.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with what Gavin told his team, Brian. I mean, Dartmouth's probably a better technical team, but size-wise, Kutztown, holy smokes.
Yeah, and they just brought in some more size, too, in the form of Duke McKenna. Not wearing the number 6, just a mountain of a man, and you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You get some size out there, but you know, can you move it around, and is there space on the corner? You want a mismatch, and one of the guys who might be coming in looks like he's warming up on the sideline, number 10, John Abraham, a 100-meter sprinter at Dartmouth, now a rugby player. We'll see if he comes in to add a little bit of a spark. There's McKenna.
McKenna on the offload, ball mishandled, but Kutztown maintains possession. We're all even at 7. Here's we go under 6 minutes to play in this one. And the big man out on the wing. Look at this. Look at this. Cutting back right and left, and a perfect time to offload to Bruce Dolan, who will take it across for the try.
Well, it looked like the defense just overran the attack there. Number 3. Jack Braun coming over on defense. Dolan, a great finish, but it looked like the defense was set up. It just had overcommitted.
So Dolan runs in support of big number Michael Lawrenson, number 8. And it's Kutztown now with an easy conversion attempt, and they get the 2 points.
And again, look at the defense overcommit there. And here comes Dolan, just an easy line after that. A lot of bodies on the ground for Dartmouth. There's Doc Jones. He's got to be pretty happy so far. And checking in for Dartmouth, I alluded to him earlier, number 10, John Abraham. Keep an eye on him. They're going to try to run him into space. He's been trying to do a little too much this weekend, and that's why he didn't get the start, in my opinion, but he can definitely finish.
So Abraham comes in, providing the big green with some speed, immediately gets the ball as the pass is made from Madison Hughes. Looking for the corner, here we go. Spins away with a nice piece of offense for the big green, and now they've got room to run.
Good support by Neil Green. He gets chased down, but there's numbers outside. An early tackle. Yeah, early tackle on James Sharp.
Early tackle.
Well, you got to give credit to Kutztown for collapsing on defense and really trying to set up their wall again. It's a good chase, very committed. You can see how much this means to him.
Wilson Chalkley. Abraham now with the ball. Quick feet taken to the ground. Nice
Kevin
inside
Clark.
Communication.
Release. Hold him back over.
Ball taken away, and it ends up in Dartmouth's hands.
No, it's a penalty against Kevin Clark. He was trying to ground the ball, but Lawrenson came over and held him up.
Must release screen.
He couldn't get a grip on it. so he couldn't do anything with it, and instead gets called for holding on to the ball.
No, it wasn't. It was right there.
Check this out again. Lawrenson wraps him up.
Release.
Clark trying to do something with it. He wants to reach out and score. All he has to do is half his body's over the goal line. He just can't get the ball there as well.
Just put it in front of him.
So now the line out comes, and there's a distinct advantage here for Kutztown.
He's off. Thank you.
All you got to do is throw it and let Lawrenson jump for it at this point.
Yes, you're fine.
Lawrenson at 6'7". This is pretty much
it's straight enough.
Easy pickings for Kutztown. They maintain possession. They do have the size.
Out green.
Right now, 14-7 is the lead. 2:35 now to play in this match. And again, Lawrenson up the middle. Madison Hughes has to come in.
Side 5.
Oh, I think that's a horrible call by the referee. Madison Hughes
looks like he came
straight through the gate. Referee said it was from the side, and that's controversial right there. You got to give credit to Hughes. He was in the right place. Should have been Dartmouth's ball. Watch this again. There's the breakdown. He's straight through the gate over the body of Lawrenson. I think he should have had access to the ball. I don't agree.
Kutztown will kick it into touch, so a line out.
11 white.
Well, 2 minutes on the clock, and Kutztown now, I think they're the less fit of these two sides in trying to slow the game down, and it's a wise move by the Golden Bears.
Question, Brian, is this a massive upset if Kutztown takes down Dartmouth?
I don't think so. Not in the way that Dartmouth's personnel has assembled for this tournament. And they're really missing some big guys, some ball winners. Guys like Nate Brakely of the past, the 6'6".
Time's back on.
Rugby convert from Old.
Oh, and it's picked off immediately by Kevin Clark.
You're looking for support, and it's overrun. Big mistake on the line out by Kutztown.
So now an opportunity for Dartmouth. They came from behind in their last match. Can they do it again? Abraham bottled up.
Neil Green's there first.
Get out, Green! Green, you must roll. You must roll.
Again, it looked like Kutztown bodies on the ground. And Dartmouth penalized instead, and now a minute left on the clock, and there's only going to be seconds left for Dartmouth to have a chance. Nico Kruger wisely slows the game down once again. Ball finds touch. They'll walk down to the line out.
So Dartmouth is going to have to steal this line out.
They got to come up with something quick. 40 plus, ticking down. Well, Hughes, the game winner for Dartmouth earlier today against Notre Dame.
Step, Green, step, step. Collapsing the tunnel, free kick. I told you to step, you got to step.
Another break for Kutztown, but a knock on. Well, this will be a chance. 16 seconds left. Dartmouth has one more opportunity, and look for number 5.
It's a scrum. It's white 6 and captain, please. White 6 and captain. Kicking the ball away.
So yellow card coming. It'll be a one-man advantage. Kicking the ball away. It's a cynical foul for slowing the game down. So it'll be 7 on 6. 5 seconds left. Dartmouth with a chance.
So Duke McKeenan now sent off to the sin bin. It'll be a 7 on 6 advantage to Dartmouth.
Wait, back. You're gonna blow the whistle before you can play, okay?
You don't have to get it all back at once. You can go through some phases. You can go into a tackle. It's okay. Abraham on the corner. He's got the speed. He's got Madison Hughes inside.
Hughes cuts it back in. Can he do it again like he did against Notre Dame? Madison Hughes with the try.
And a horribly difficult kick to square things up. But if it was going to come for Dartmouth, it was going to come from the feet of Madison Hughes. Good job by Kutztown to force him out and make the long conversion. He's got 30 seconds to take a breath and line this kick up.
It's going to be very difficult, this conversion at a very tough angle as we check in with Marty.
But Todd, remember, he is one of the best kickers, not only in the country, maybe in the world. Alex Magleby was telling me about that. He will spend 30 minutes after practice every day working on kicks like this. Let's see if he can come through.
This could be our first tie of the tournament so far if Madison Hughes could put this thing through.
And if Kutztown... You talk about poise, that is unbelievable. And that all but guarantees that both of these teams, if Kutztown wins their last game, are going to move into the cup round.
With no time left on the clock, Madison Hughes comes up big, not once, but twice. How about that kick?
That is ice water in the veins kind of stuff. That's why he's on the U.S. team, and that's why you might see him in the Olympics in 2016.
Head coach Gavin Hickey looking on.
Yes! We'll give Kutztown credit too. It's a great sign.
Outstanding.
And we'll check in on the field with Marty.
That's why you spend 30 minutes every day after practice kicking that kick, right?
That's right. It's for situations like that when the whole team's looking at you. It all comes down to you, and that's what I love. That's the moment, that's the spot I want to be in. And yeah, got it just there.
Had you lined it up, did you think I have a real shot here, or were you thinking the wind was too much?
I think I got a shot wherever it is. And yeah, I just got that one. It was nice.
There you go. That's the heart of a champion. I think I have a shot from wherever it is, Todd.
No question about it. Madison Hughes comes up absolutely enormous for Dartmouth. The junior originally from London, England, gets the tie, and Dartmouth and Kutztown battle to a draw here in Philadelphia. Still much more of the CRC when we return on NBC SN. Man, that was... I just will. I mean, he just...
Well, the try and the kick, you know?
I mean... That Abraham guy really changes everything for them. I mean, when he's out there, that's...
Yeah.
Man, that's serious. And like Marty said, the wind was kicking.
Yeah, I mean, the referees have basically been given a no-tolerance policy towards that, and so it's almost like they
time he did it, though.
It was almost like they have to go to their pocket.
Yeah. That was, but he had done that. McKenna had done that earlier in the first half, and Dartmouth had complained about it. Yeah. He had kicked it away.
Hey, Brian, is it okay to ask him if he thought that was a fair call for the yellow card or not?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, that's okay to question that,
he's either going to say
right?
yes or no.
What are you doing right now?
I don't want to get him fined 20 grand or anything.
Want to help me do something?
No.
Okay.
You can just ask him if he thought the yellow card was warranted, and he'll give you an opinion.
Probably at the interview area.
Do you have a game?
Let me see if I can get him.
I just need, I got St. Joe's Notre Dame. I just need the bottom ones here. If you could put them in order, just back to back to back. Here, wait, hold. There's two more.
Do we have the most recent ones?
Ladies and gentlemen, for your next match, please welcome St. Joe.
Got him.
What's that? Subway vignette.
My whole life goal has always been to be part of the Fighting Irish, and it means the world to me. To have that ND on our chest as we run out on the field, it's a great honor. All 6 guys, especially in this tournament, they all represent Notre Dame. They all represent Our Lady with their full heart, full minds, full souls.
Collegiate Rugby Championship rolls on here from Philadelphia at PPL Park alongside Marty Snyder, Brian Hightower, Todd Harris with you. It's now Notre Dame taking on St. Joe's. As we mentioned earlier, 6 teams from Pennsylvania have made it to this 20-field tournament. St. Joe's one of them, and this will be an interesting game right off the bat.
Scrum advantage.
Turnover to the Irish.
Well, Notre Dame's lost 2 tough ones, and they've played some great rugby, except they've just been in a pool of death, really. Kutztown.
Advantage gains.
And Dartmouth.
Top 2 teams out of each pool advance on to play. A huge hit.
Adam Dugnan.
Round 3.
Degnan absolutely destroyed the Irish player there. An illegal hit.
And he's holding his shoulder, too. Looks like he's holding his left shoulder. That was a huge hit, but it might have cost Degnan more than it did Notre Dame. Take a look again at this great hit by Degnan. That is a perfect hit. Shoulder in, knee in the right place, feet driving, and he's hitting one of the biggest guys on the field, too, in Tyler Plants.
Sit. What's up? Thank you. 3 off.
Not quite the speed we saw on the field with Dartmouth, but both these teams absolutely very strong, very technical, as you alluded to. Notre Dame coming off of 2 big losses, and a nice start for them as Hunter White able to take it across for the try for the Irish.
White just takes it by himself here. Missed tackles. We talked about him earlier, and it'll be the talk of the tournament. You put the guys on the ground. Dartmouth just showed how you can size up against a bigger team. As long as you make your tackles, you can stay in the game.
And we check it on the field with Marty Snyder.
Well, back by the locker rooms with Doc Jones, the head coach for Kutztown, and let's talk about the end of that match, Coach. Was the yellow card call a fair call in your estimation?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I believe it was.
What about your guys and how they handled the end of that match, you think?
Well, I think they handled it very well. We've been practicing a yellow card situation all year and playing with 6 people in tournaments, so I think they did well. We just had our defender on the outside, came up a little too flat, and there was enough speed to beat him, and simple mistake.
End of the day, was 6-on-7 the difference, you think, in the last try?
Could have been, yeah, but I don't really think so. I mean, we should have been able to stop that. Our player just played out of position. It wasn't because there was only 6 guys.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You bet.
Doc Jones, the head coach for Kutztown since 1986, and here is St. Joe's coming back, trying to answer, and there's a try.
Well, it looked like number 6 for Notre Dame. Sean O'Leary had made the defensive play of the game so far, but St. Joe's does a real nice job in support. Dan Deal just using all the gas in the tank. You can do that. Release the ball, and all it needs is to touch that white line. And Deal from St. Joe's.
Deal, originally from Haddon Heights, New Jersey, played at South Carolina, transferred to St. Joe's, so they're glad to have him here in Pennsylvania. 2-point conversion up and no good, so it remains 7-5 Irish as we go into 3.5 to play.
Look at Deal here, and again, missed tackle there, but watch the defense here. Number 6, Sean O'Leary coming across, does a great job, but wisely, Dan Deal lets go of the ball, gets to his feet, plays it once again, perfectly legal, the outstretched arm. Beautiful shot there by our camera crew here at NBC.
So back to live action here at PPL Park.
Number 4, tackle release before playing the ball. Goes to the mark.
And on the reset, so St. Joe's in a nice position. The Hawks looking for 5 more, and a nice piece of running there as Jimmy Wolfer cuts inside in and out.
Wolfer and his brother Joe on the field. Joe's wearing the number 7. They both went to Xavier High School together. Oh, and just the north-south approach by Adam Degnan. Looks like his shoulder is going to be all right after all. Shortest distance between 2 lines right there for Degnan, and he just decides to go straight over the Notre Dame defense. Puts St. Joe's in the lead.
Downward pressure applied as it makes it across the try line, and St. Joe's, and David Yaruso, their head coach, happy to be on top now of Notre Dame. Pushes that conversion just to the right. You brought up Xavier High School out in New York. It's turned out quite a few exceptional athletes, especially when you talk about collegiate rugby.
Yeah, well, you talk about Seamus Kelly, first of all. There's a couple other guys that have migrated all the way out to California, but in this tournament, Degnan, Murphy, the Wolfer boys, and Dom DeFalco rounding things out for Penn State. It's really become quite the factory for rugby players.
And no one home on this one, so a nice run for Tom Hickey. He decides, you know what, I'll take the whole thing myself.
Well, Jimmy Wolfer came over and had position, and again, a missed tackle. Great open field run, though. I tell you, you talk about a difficult tackle to make, especially when a guy like Tom Hickey's running at you. That's a good-sized boy.
Yeah, 6'4", 220 for Hickey, the senior out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
It's all about where the legs drive, and if you stop your feet and just launch your shoulder, especially on a big guy like that, it's not going to happen. Wolfer's got to keep his feet and drive through that tackle.
Brian Kelly might be interested in someone like Tom Hickey had he not been a senior, but you think about the football program at Notre Dame, and a guy like Hickey, I see him lining up in the pads.
Yeah, I mean, the body's good. That's a great size player for a football body, and the fitness. You talk about being able to get around the field. It's just such a different type of fitness in sevens compared to football.
So on the restart kick, 14-10, Irish back in front. Nice offload. They've got numbers on the outside to St. Joe's, and that one goes awry.
Yeah, Degnan on the corner there, and it's just a bad pass. You got to be able to finish. That's basic skills.
Yes, come please.
Pass and catch.
Watch the kick through.
So this will be a scrum for the Irish.
Bind. Sit. Ready. Bulls in. Go back. Play. Right.
Another missed tackle there, and we're going to see we got overlaps on the outside, but couldn't get the ball out. That's Joe Fowler working against Sean O'Leary and able to cross over.
Joe Wolfer takes it in, number 7 with no time on the clock. So how about St. Joe's? The Hawks putting 5 more on the board.
You on it. 10 seconds.
1 point advantage for the Hawks with a conversion coming.
Wolfer just backs himself. I'd like to see the ball in the other hand. So would any other football coach in the land, but as long as you get across, you get a break on that one.
First half comes to a conclusion. It is St. Joe's leading Notre Dame. We'll have the second half when we return to Philadelphia. This is a Subway sandwich for this morning, right? The vignette.
All right, Charlie, let's see what you got. He scoops it up. He goes behind the knee.